Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you What If Naruto Was Sent to the Marvel World Part 17. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also go ahead and check out What If Naruto Was a Deceitful God that I posted over on Anime King 2 and enjoyed that guys. And also stay in tune for What If Naruto is a God Amongst Man. And later on I'm going to be posting something new, so stay in tune for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support guys. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last time the Ancient One was with Ileana, as she took the kunai and threw it into the wall. As Naruto didn't appear, as she asked how long does it take, but Ileana said that he will be here soon. As the Zack landed on Earth, as the Avengers started to fight him, but the Zack proved to be too powerful, as he knocked them away. As the Zack went for Hulk, the Zack stabbed his sword right through Hulk's chest. As he blasts Hulk away with a sonic fist, Hulk smashed into the wall as the Zack was about to behead him. When Naruto arrived, as Naruto grabbed the Zack and vanished with him, as Natasha and the others were shocked, was that Naruto? As Naruto arrived on a waste field with the Zack, where no life was, no buildings, nothing. The both of them started to battle as the Zack had a shield and an axe. The shield he had completely absorbed all type of energy. So everything Naruto threw at him he absorbed, and the axe he had negated all energy. It means anything he hit with it, the power flowing in you will be flushed out. And the Zack has been fighting for centuries. All of the power he fight, when he fights someone powerful, go into the amulet. And he has been fighting for years upon years. That is why he's so strong. As both him and Naruto battle, everything Naruto threw at him, the man took them like a champ. As Naruto managed to slice off one of his arms, as this axe started to pounce on Naruto, as he drive his axe in Naruto's stomach. As Naruto's power was negated, as he couldn't feel any of it, he couldn't even hear Kurama. As Natasha and the others arrived on the scene, as Clint said that he couldn't land because some purple energy was just exploding from Naruto. Meanwhile, Naruto came face to face with death. It was a woman, as she seemed to be a holy entity. She was wearing a long dress that seemed to cover all the universe, as it was made up from planets and stars. As she told him that he just wanted to sleep and give up. She told him to just relax and give up. All of his friends are already dead. He has nothing more to live for. But Naruto told her no, as he still has something to do. He cannot die yet. As she told him that she will help him, as she was the one that blasted away the Zack, and his axe in Naruto's stomach burst into pieces. As Naruto snapped open his eyes to hear Kurama calling out to him. As Naruto got back up to his feet, as Naruto saw the Zack facing off against the Avengers, as he was beating them back even with his one arm. As Naruto arrived and told them all that he would handle this, as Natasha just stared at him, as she told them all let's go. As she saw it in his eyes, he will win. As the Zack chuckled, as he no longer called Naruto the Celestial, saying that he doesn't deserve that name anymore. As Naruto waited until Natasha and the others were gone, as he activated Cosmic Sage Mode. As the Zack punched Naruto a couple of times, but Naruto didn't even feel it. As a real battle started, as Naruto started to beat the crap out of the Zack, beating him badly, until Kurama told him that he only had 10 minutes left in the stage. As the Zack exploded with pure power, as Naruto decided to finish this. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the page and check it out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. Naruto was standing a distance away from the Zack as a giant Rasengan was forming into the sky. Several clones popped into existence as they started to raise their hands up as well. As the Zack was covered by the sand as he started to rip himself out of it. You really think this can hold me, boy? No, just to distract you, he heard right at his ear as a clone grabbed him. Sage Art, Earth Release, waited bolder as the Zack eyes wide in shock as he felt like the planet itself rested on his shoulders. What have you done to me, boy? He said. Just a little jutsu that hold you down. It takes a lot out of me to use since Earth Release is my worst element, but it's good enough to hold you for a couple of minutes. The clone said as he looked over at the real Naruto. You almost done over there? Yeah, I'm done, said the real Naruto, sweat coming off his face. Cosmic Release, Galactic Rasengan. As in the center was a spiraling Rasengan that was purple, and around it was 9 other Rasengan from all of the Bijus. And over that was a yellow glow of Kurama's cloak that was just pulsating with power. As the Zack eyes widened, he quickly reached down into the depths of his power. His veins started to bulge like they were about to explode as he released everything. His skin started to crack and peel as a godly energy started to seep from his entire core. His eyes now nothing but a glowing yellow. The Naruto clone was struggling to hold him down. Knowing that he only had seconds for him to escape, Naruto hurled the Cosmic Rasengan as it made contact. As a massive explosion went off, the Avengers covered their eyes from the massive attack. As a light filled the entire place, even from over 10 miles away the Quinjet shook massively. His eyes, still squinted shut, started to ask, was that our guy or the other guy? Ours, I hope, said Clint, as he started to push the ship up into the air to get away from the explosion because the effect was blowing them back. It was like an atomic bomb went off or something. We're lucky there isn't any city nearby. That explosion would wipe the city off the map, said Rogers. The world government is not going to like this, not at all, said Natasha, worry dripping into her voice ever so slightly. Meanwhile, Naruto collapsed down to his knees and his hands as he was huffing. He's alive, brat, said Kurama. I know, said Naruto. Stepping out of the smoke was the Zack, as his armor was completely gone. Only thing he had on was a torn up black pants, blood seeping from almost everywhere all over his body. His godly energy no longer surrounding him, as the gem around his neck was cracked and steam was coming from it. You damaged my amulet. Never in the time I served under the Designate has that ever happened. It almost shattered from the power of your attack. She will surely punish me for my weakness. As the Zack made his way over to Naruto. As Naruto looked up, why won't you just die already? You almost succeeded, boy, but it seemed like you can't go on any longer, said the Zack, as he kicked Naruto in the stomach. I no longer care what Thanos wants. I am killing you today. Here and now, pray to your gods, boy, because you will be visiting them soon enough. As the Zack got over Naruto and started to choke the life out of him. But Naruto smirked as the Zack watched him poofed away. What the? That was all the Zack could say as a hand burst from the sand below that was covered in lightning. As the sound of tearing flesh could be heard, as Naruto teared right through the gem and burst through the Zack's chest as well. As the Zack looked into Naruto's eyes. Die, Naruto said. And so he did. As the Zack just fell over as Naruto pushed him so he wouldn't land on him. As Naruto pulled himself out of the sand, as he just collapsed right there. Just rest, Naruto, said Kurama, as Naruto heard the Quinjet engine. You deserve it. As Naruto heard Natasha screamed out his name, as he saw the vision before his eyes shut, as a smile spread across his face as he fell unconscious. Time skip, Dr. Helen Cho walked in the Avengers Tower as she was heading to room 3B. As she slid the door open, as she saw her patient on his feet. as Helen quickly looked away as the backside of his gown was wide open. Ahem, she said, to get his attention. Naruto looked at the woman as he wondered why she was refusing eye contact with him, as he felt a draft from behind, as an embarrassing blush spread across his face. Sorry, he said. Cho sighed. That's alright, Mr. Uzumaki. It happened a lot more than you think. Where am I exactly, Naruto said. I know I'm in Manhattan, but did S.H.I.E.L.D. set up a new base while I was gone or something? I'm afraid that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been dismantled by the government. Helen said, this is Avengers Tower. I came here when I saw the alarm to your bed, the weighted one, went off. You shouldn't be moving around right now, she said. At all. As Naruto hid the fact that he was surprised that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been dismantled. Well, a few scrapes and cuts cannot keep me down, he said. 3 broken ribs with your left jaw broken, your left lungs punctured, and a major brain damage, and also 1 twisted ankle. That is what you came in here with. But in 5 hours, your entire body healed itself, even the brain damage. It seems like it wasn't even there. You should be dead. Like I said, scratches and scrapes, Naruto said. But in his mind he thought, thank you, Kurama. That woman is an over-exaggerating brat. If it weren't for me, you would be dead, Kurama said. I said thanks, Kurama. What do you want? But Kurama cut him off. What I want is for you to ignore that other voice in your head. The one that's gonna tell you to do something stupid like train or fight. Do not try anything stupid like try to fight someone stronger than that guy. Just for now, relax. Giving a mental sigh, Naruto thought, fine. As Helen looked at Naruto, maybe I was wrong about the brain damage, she thought, as she saw him having a conversation with himself. Naruto heard her. Sorry about that, he said, as he looked at her name tag, Helen. It's just a little weird being back here after so long. Well, allow me to inform Mr. Stark that you're awake. I am sure they all would like to see you. Looking down, a thought came to him. Hey, could you get me some clothes? About 5 minutes later, where did you get these, Naruto asked. These belong to Captain Rogers. Mr. Stark said that he wouldn't mind you borrowing them. He wouldn't mind, huh? Naruto said, as he set the clothes and shoes aside. But Helen did not leave. Did you still need something? He asked. A quick physical exam, actually, she said. Okay, well, can I get some privacy first? Naruto said. Quickly realizing her mistake, she turned. My apologies, she said, as she waited patiently for him to change into the clothes that she gave him. Aren't you going to leave the room? Naruto asked. I was told to stay with you to make sure you don't try to run off, she said. Whoever tell you that clearly forgot that I could teleport, Naruto said, as he put on the brown pants that were clearly a size too big for him. You can teleport, she said, a tinge of curiosity in her voice. Yep, Naruto said, as he slipped on the matching leather loafers. Interesting, I saw the footage from when you fought in the incident, but I would have never expected you could teleport as well. The incident? Naruto said. Yes, that is what the government and the media call the attack on New York. Naruto buttoned up the plaid shirt. I gotta get caught up on what I miss. I hate being out of the loop like this. Well, I can help you with that, said the voice. As Naruto looked over the doorway. Ah, Tony, he said, a smile on his face. How is it going, kid? Tony said, as he walked over to Naruto. I didn't think you would be walking around so soon. Naruto gave a small chuckle as he rubbed the back of his head. So people keep telling me, he said, as he looked over to Cho. How is he doing really? I was about to start my physical examination, but at the moment, he seemed to be doing well. Tony gave a clap. You hear that, kid? Doctors say you're fine, as he wrapped her arm around Naruto's shoulder as he started to pull him out of the room. Excuse me? Cho said, as she followed after them. Excuse me, Mr. Stark, but I haven't given my exam yet. And even then, he shouldn't be walking around. He needs rest. Don't worry, Doc. I'll take it easy on him, Stark said, as he dragged Naruto into the elevator. As he took his arm off Naruto and pressed the button. So, how long has it been, kid? 3 years? What's the date? Naruto asked. March 23, 2015, Tony said. Yeah, almost, Naruto said. What were you doing all this time? Tony said. You look different, he said, looking Naruto up and down. Naruto smiled. Thanks. As he looked at Tony. You don't. I'm hurt you haven't noticed yet, kid, Tony said. Notice what? The extra set of wrinkles on your forehead? Cause I was trying to be polite and not bring it up, Naruto said. What? No, no, Tony said as he tapped his chest. Holy crap, Naruto said. The light bulb is gone from your chest. When did that happen? About 2 years ago, Tony said. I got rid of the reactor and all of my armor when I retired. Retired? But I saw you all suited up fighting the Zack. Well, after Shield fell, I had to step back into the suit for a bit. That is unleashed till Captain Natasha get everything under control. And how exactly did Shield fall? Naruto asked. Tony was interrupted as the elevator stopped and opened to reveal Maria Coulson on the other side. Naruto, she said and nod. Agent Hill, Naruto said back. As she stepped aside to let the two pass, I'm not an agent anymore, just Hill. Right, Naruto said. Follow me, the others are waiting for us in the briefing room, Maria said, as she lead them. So, who's all here? Naruto asks. Captain Rogers, Clint, Natasha, Banner. What about Fury? Naruto asks. I get Thorn at being here with all of his duties, but I think Fury would be all over this. As Naruto saw Tony's expression change. Well kid, the thing is, you remember when I told that she was disbanded? Yeah, Naruto said. Well, part of this was because Fury was assassinated. As Tony waited for a response from Naruto, as he looked at him. After several seconds of no response, he asked, You okay dear kid? As Naruto turned at Maria, I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you, she said. It's weird, but a lot of the time it felt like it didn't happen, like he's still here with us. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Still, I know how close the two of you were. Reaching the end of the hallway, Maria pushed the door open, allowing the two men to go inside. As Naruto was barely inside the room when he felt someone wrap their arms around him in a bone-crushing hug. It's good to see you, man. He heard Clint shouting in his ear, as Clint released his bear hug as he stepped back. Naruto grinned. It's good to be back. As Rogers looked at Naruto, are those my clothes? Oh yeah, Tony said. Dr. Cho took those. I tried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen to me. What are you talking about, Tony? I saw you took those from Steve. Room, Bruce said. Really? 7 PhDs and none of them help you navigate this situation. As Bruce looked at Tony. What? He said. As Naruto ignored them as he looked over to see Natasha, as she was sitting by herself, as she wasn't looking at him. Realizing that the room had become quiet, Naruto realized everyone was looking at him, waiting for his next move. Eyeing Natasha for one last time, Naruto sat down, as he looked at Tony and Steve who were looking at the projector screen. Well then, Stark said, let's get started then, as he reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. After a couple of seconds of tapping and scream, the projector turned on, showing a slideshow. And what are we getting on? Exactly, asked Bruce. A debriefing, more or less, said Tony. Well, Naruto has been gone a while, so Tony and I felt it would be good to give him a quick overview over the past 3 years. No, I understand that, I just don't understand why we're all here. This is the second time the two of us has been in the same room in 3 years. Ignoring what you guys told me about him, I don't really know the man, Bruce said, as he looked at Natasha for a split second, and I'm sure some of us have other things to do than be here for this briefing. As Tony looked at everyone in the room, realizing Bruce was right. Alright, if you feel you're not needed, you're free to leave, he said. Bruce nodded a few times as he awkwardly get up, as he nodded to Naruto. As he then looked at Natasha, she then turned to Tony. I'm staying, she said. Let's get started then. Dr. Banner, if you wouldn't mind closing the door, said Steve. Time skip. A man named Jason got out of bed. As he stretched, he went to the bathroom. As he looked in the mirror at his face, as he got water and washed his face. He then pulled out his toothbrush, as he put some toothpaste on it. As he wet the brush and started to brush his teeth, he felt arms wrapped around him. Morning, said a voice. Morning, he said. As he turned to look at his wife, the kids awake, he asked. As she nodded, Ashley is making breakfast now. As she gave him a quick kiss on the cheek, eggs and toast. As he kissed her back, did I ever thank you for hiring that woman? He asked. 5 times. Well, make it 6, he said. As she walked past her husband, she reached for her own toothbrush. Go downstairs before the kids leave on the bus. Right, he said, as he headed downstairs, as a blonde-haired man grabbed his coat. As he came down to see Ashley in the kitchen, with eggs in the pan. Ashley, Jason said. Ashley, a raven-haired woman in her late 20s, turned as she greeted her boss. "Hello, Mr. Cartwright," she said. Looking around the kitchen, he asked, "Where is Julia and Dominic?" "They left for the bus," she said. "Already?" said Jason. The maid nodded. "It must have come early today, sir." As she walked over to the cupboards and took out a pair of plates, as she set them next to the stove. "How much scoop?" she asked. "Two will be fine, Ashley, thank you," Jason said, as she scooped the eggs and placed them in the plate. As she was about to butter his toast, "I can do that," he said. "Why don't you make sure the kids got on the bus?" "Of course, sir," she said, as she handed the knife and the buttering toast to the man. As he buttered his toast, as he went down and took a bite of the eggs, as he moaned a bit. "Good," he said. As he turned to see his wife, with her usual business suit on. "I'm going to have to thank you 7 times, Gloria," he said. Gloria smirked. "So what's the plan for today?" "You know, I actually don't know." The phone then went off as Jason walked over to it. As he picked it up, at first all he heard was breathing. Then the person spoke, Brooklyn, 242, Bark Avenue, a bar called Abyss, 2 hours. "Alright," Jason said, as he placed the phone down. "What was that?" his wife asked. "Work," he said. She walked up to him as she kissed him. "I have to go. Be safe," she said. "You don't have to worry about me," said Jason. Meanwhile, Naruto just got all of the information. Honestly, I don't know what to say to that. In nearly 3 years, Tony retired from the business and come back a year later. Thor received the plan from a guy who I don't remember his name. S.H.I.E.L.D. has been disbanded. Loki's scepter has been taken by Hydra, and Director Fury was killed in action. "That's hard to believe," he said about Director Fury. "So you think her line said Hill?" "No, I'm just saying I wouldn't put it past the greatest spy in the planet to pull one over on us like this." "Am I the only one?" he asked. Tony raised a hand. "I'd like to add that Bruce and I are on the same boat. As far as we think, Fury is still in 007 somewhere." Hill pinched her nose. "Can we move on, please? There's still the other half of the briefing." "Other half?" Naruto said, the confused look on his face. "Well, yeah, I thought you would tell us what you have been up to for the past few years. You know, tit for tat," Tony said. "Well, what do you want to know?" Naruto asked. "Where did you go when you left?" said Natasha. As Naruto turned and looked over, "My home planet," he said. That shut everyone up. You went back to your planet?" said Natasha. As Naruto nodded. "Well," said Hill. As Naruto took a long breath. "Well, after the invasion I used the Tesseract to go back home. And I guess the easiest way to say it is that I'm the last of my kind." As the room went silent again, until they heard chair moving as Naruto saw Natasha rushing out of the room. Getting from his chair, Naruto quickly started to speak. "After that, I met some space pirates, helped a criminal, wanted by Empire, ending a war that lasted for years, assisted in the assembly of the Garden of the Galaxies, and I also saved a planet. Anything else?" No one had time to say anything. "No? Great," he said. "Hey Naruto, where are you going?" Tony asked. "I'll be around, Tony, call me," Naruto said. Hill sighed. "Does he even have a phone?" "I don't think so." Inside the seal, Kurama rolled his eyes as Naruto was running after Natasha. "What are you doing, Naruto? Just let her go." "No," Naruto said. "Don't be stubborn, brat. She's not worth the But Naruto cut off Kurama. "You can't change my mind, Kurama," Naruto said. As Kurama scoffed, "Just don't do anything stupid." "I'm not going to hurt her," Naruto said. "That's not what I'm saying," said Kurama. As Naruto entered the elevator, he allowed Nature Chakra to enter his system, as it took a while since Nature Chakra was a bit thin around here. As he went down in the elevator as he found her. "So what's the game plan after your talk with the Red Wench?" Kurama said. "Well, there's someone I need to see. After that, I'll see where the wind take me. Maybe look into all that S.H.I.E.L.D. information that got leaked. See if there's anything I can find about the second stone and Loki's staff." "Why the stick?" Kurama asked. "If you didn't take so many long naps, you would know that Gamora told us the big purple guy gave Loki that staff to assist him in invading Earth." And Kurama said. "The scepter had a little gem in it," Naruto said. "Oh," Kurama said. "Exactly, the little shit was carrying around an Infinity Stone and didn't even know it." "What an asshole," Kurama said. Naruto chuckled. "I know, right? Thank the sage that he's dead." "How do you know that he simply didn't trick the Thunder Man?" said Kurama. He's been prone to do it before, apparently, said Grandma. Time will tell, said Naruto, as he came out of the elevator as he reached the door. As he reached up his hand and waited, he then knocked. But no one answered, as he knocked again harder. As he was about to knock a third time, what said a voice? Even with the door between them, Naruto could hear the irritability in Natasha's voice. It's me, Nat, he said, as he heard the locks being unlatched. As she opened the door and looked at him, can I come in? She then stepped back as she opened the door. As she walked into the living room as he followed behind her. As she moved back away from him, as she did not sit down, she just grabbed a glass of wine and stepped back into the corner. Feeling that sitting down would only make things look more awkward, he decided to stand as well. As Naruto looked her over, she hasn't changed much, but her eyes, they were red. Why are you here, Naruto? She asked. As Naruto held back a sigh as he watched her put up that mask that pushed away everything. We need to talk about what happened, he said. She took a sip of her wine. If that is why you're here, then we both know where this is going to go. So get it over with, she said. As she put the glass down with too much force, as the red wine spilled over the cupboard. I deserve everything you're going to say. Don't bother holding back. Naruto chuckled. Is that what you think I'm here for? To yell at you? Why wouldn't you? I told you I deserve it, she said. Probably, Naruto said with a shrug. Well, she said. What do you want me to say, Nat? Anger came on her face. Don't call me that, she said. Why? Naruto asked. How many times do I have to tell you to get it over with? She said to him. If you tell me what you want me to say, I'll say it, Naruto said. Why are you acting this way after everything I've done? She screamed. You know why, Nat, Naruto said. Don't call me that, she said to him. Why not, Naruto asked. Because I don't deserve it, she said, crying. That name was back then. Back when you loved me, when I did not feel this way. That name was back when I hadn't hurt you. As Naruto was shocked because he'd never seen her cry in all the time he spent with her. As he forced his mask back into place to not break down. What do you want me to say, he said. As it was then her dam finally broke. I want you to say that you hate me. I want you to tell me that it was all my fault. That is my fault that everyone you love is dead. That I broke your trust, I broke your heart. I want you to tell me I'm a witch, a whore, a piece of human garbage. I want you to hate me. I want you to return the pain, all of the pain I put onto you. I want you to put it back on me. As she started to break even more. I want things to go back to the way they were. I want you to forgive me. I want you to love me, she said. As she squeezed her eyes tight, so the tears wouldn't fall anymore. As she felt him moving close, as she tensed up herself, but he hugged her. As she felt the arms wrapped around her, as she released all of her restraint, as she rested her head on his shoulder, as the both of them went down, as she started to cry in his chest, as he simply ran his hand through her hair. It wasn't your fault, Naruto said. When Sasuke saved me, he used a portal that used the aspect of both time and space. In his rush to save me, he used a technique that he had no control over. You see, when he sent me here, 76 years passed on my earth, he sent me that far into the future. That doesn't change, she said. Yes, it doesn't change the fact that you used and betrayed me. It doesn't change the fact that you hurt me. It doesn't change the fact that I cannot forgive you. It doesn't change the fact that you were the first woman I ever loved. But you're not the reason my people are gone. That I'll never get to see the people I love again. That I'll never get to say the things I want to say after the war. That I would never get to have the reunion with my team that I wanted. All that went out the window the second I entered this planet atmosphere. I could have gone back as soon as I left, but it wouldn't have made a difference. I failed. It's no one's fault but my own, he said. With that, the two just sat there, not saying a word. Meanwhile, right on time, Mr. Cartwright, Jason, as he just got a pat down by one of the men stationed outside of the bar. He entered to see that him and the man sitting down at the table were the only people in here. As the man looked like a rather normal businessman, as he was wrapped in an expensive business suit, as he looked very out of place in this bar. Jason walked over as he pulled out a chair. I know how you and Mr. But the man cut him off. Mr. Cartwright. I'm afraid I'll have to remind you to not use the name of our employer. You understand? Okay, I know who you and our employer are. About punctuality, Jason said. So, you called me for a job, sir, said Jason. Sir, I'm not my employer, Mr. Cartwright. You can say my name as freely as you want. So, the job, Mr. Wesley? Asked Jason. Victor Vasquez, 39 years old, Harlem, 58 West, 120th Street, family of 4, wife Maria Vasquez, 37 years old, daughter Juana Vasquez, 15 years old, son Victor Vasquez, 9 years old. He then paused. How's your Spanish? He said. Good, said Jason. Good as you can have a conversation if need be? Yes, Jason said. Yes, that may be needed, said Wesley. The job, said Jason. Interrogation and extermination. Mr. Vasquez is one of our employer's many retainers. After making a name for himself in Central America, he thought he would reach over into the States. Align ourselves with his employer, he was put in charge of importing drugs across from the border, splitting the profits with the overall organization. I'm going to assume after moving to the States, he started to make a series of bad decisions, said Jason. Yes, said Wesley, as man of his positions are prone to do. Some of our accountants have found some things while going over his numbers. And I mean like 2,358,000. Skimming the books isn't that bad. We all do it from time to time. Our employer understood when he confronted Victor. But Victor, not so much. 3 men broke into our employer's house and take down 2 of his guards. But 2 of them are killed, but the last one escaped. We need to find him fast. We need to set an example, understood? Understood, Jason said. Meanwhile, where are we going exactly, said Kramer. You've been wandering around for hours now. I am not wandering around. I know exactly where I'm going, Naruto said. As he was currently walking through northern Manhattan, more specifically Washington Heights, hands in his pockets as he continued his trail. And that is? Do you remember what we were doing before we got pulled into the invasion? Naruto asked. Kramer nodded. Taking out a handful of dipshits selling guns. They were selling them to kids if I remember correctly. Yeah, I was so wrapped up in everything I never made sure they got arrested. For all I know, they're still roaming the streets. I just wanna check real quick. And then after that, Kramer asked, I will do what you want me to do, take a break. I'll get myself settled. What about the woman, brat? Kramer asked. Naruto sighed. We talked, and that's about all I can handle, Kramer. That is why I left after things calmed down. If I had stayed, I know where things would have gone. As Naruto looked over to the building, here we go, he said. As Naruto walked up to the apartment, as he went through the names and the buzzers were beside him, this is the apartment of Camila Rosoro. Her son, Mateo, was accidentally shot by one of his friends after he bought a gun from a local gang. She phoned me. She told me that the police had arrested a friend, but couldn't find the people who sold him the gun. I had told her I would take care of it. Huh? Grandma said. I've told you already, if you didn't take so many naps, this wouldn't be a problem. As Naruto pressed the buzzer and waited. And I told you many times, watching your life isn't really interesting, Grandma said. Naps preserve my sanity, whatever is left of it. Hello, a voice said. Miss Rosario, it's Naruto, Naruto said. As the box was silent, as Naruto wondered if he went through, until she spoke again. Go away. Look, Mrs. Rosario, I just want to check up on you. Maybe ask you a few questions, said Naruto. It's 3 years too late to check up on me. It's obvious you don't give a damn about what happened to me or my son. Now leave before I call the cops, I mean it. I can't do that, Mrs. Rosario. I know I let you down. I just want to make it up to you if those guys are still out there. And I swear to God you'll never hear from them again. Are you going to kill them, she asked. Is that what you want, Naruto asked. As she paused. No. No, she said, it's not. If you know where they are, I'll call the police. Make sure they get arrested, whatever you want. I don't know where they are, but I know who can help you, she said. What's his name, Mrs. Rosario? Not he, it's a her. Her name is Jessica Jones. She's a private detective. My sister hired her a month ago. Said that she's really good. Okay, Naruto said, what's her address? And the nearest ATM. Meanwhile, so how's the apartment? The word shithole comes to mind. Come on, Jessica, it's not that bad. Jessica rolled her eyes at the blonde standing across from her. As she was wearing a business suit, Jessica pulled out the flask. The smell of meth heads say otherwise, she said. Really? The woman said, looking at the flask. It's barely 2 in the afternoon. I guess I'm starting late today, Jessica said. How is business today? The blonde asked. Jessica took a drink. Fine, she said. Any clients? The woman asked. Not currently. Jessica, the woman said as she started to scowl. Will you get out my ass for just a second? Jessica said. You're acting like my parole officer or something. As she took a sip of her drink. And you should know I closed 2 cases this week. Rent for the next 2 months, bitch. Trish Huff, please don't call me that. Sorry, Jessica said. You know how I feel about being called that, said Trish. I said I was sorry, said Jessica. Fine, Trish, I'm very sorry for calling you a bitch. Better? So much, Trish said as she rolled her eyes. Their talk was cut off as they heard a knock on the door. Are you guys open? After a moment of thought, he asked, this is Alias Investigations, right? Trish sighed as she looked towards Jessica. You really need to get a sign or something. It's open, Jessica said as she put away her booze. As Naruto stepped inside, as he was a bit soaked from the rain. So, where'd you go, Amsterdam? She asked. I'm sorry, Naruto said. Are you deaf? Said Jessica. No. Then, I asked you where did you go, Amsterdam? No, I never been here before, said Naruto. So what's your excuse? What? Naruto said. Jessica scoffed as she leaned forward. I thought you said that you weren't deaf. I am not understanding what you're asking, Naruto said, as he narrowed his eyes at the woman. Is this a... But he was cut off. I was just wondering, how could you get tattoos like that? It must be Amsterdam. Or you fall asleep and your girlfriend decided to play a rather mean trick on you. Those whisker marks on your face, she said. Jessica, said Trish. Naruto then turned toward Trish. Is this Alias Investigations? No, Jessica said. Yes it is, said Trish. As she stepped between the two. Hi, I'm Trish. Naruto, he said that smile. As he looked over. Let me guess, you're Jessica Jones, right? Yeah, she is. I'm sorry about earlier, said Trish. She didn't mean it. Yeah, she did, Naruto said. And they're birthmarks, he said. Pretty strange birthmarks, said Jessica. Anyone ever tell you that you have bad manners? Naruto said. Anyone ever tell you have a shitty face? She said. Naruto kept his smile as he stepped around Trish. I would like to hire you, he said. To find the guy that did that to your face? Because I would do that free of charge so I can shake his hand. Naruto took a deep breath. No, I'm here because someone. Tell me that you can help me find someone. Fine, she said as she pulled out a notepad and a pen. What's your name? All I got's a nickname, he said. That's fine. People call him T, Naruto said. Description, Jessica said. Average height, overweight. Always wear a t-shirt that is too big. Race, she asked. A black dude, Naruto said. Age, occupation. I don't know how old he is. Probably in his 20s or 30s. But he's a drug dealer. What? Jessica said. Are you deaf? Naruto said. I am not kidding, said Jessica. Neither am I, said Naruto. Why are you looking for a drug dealer? She asked. He's an arms dealer too, Naruto said. Jessica's eyebrows started to twitch. That doesn't answer my question, she said. Naruto shrugged. The person wanting me to find recommended you. Can you do it? It's not a matter of can, it's a matter of if, Jessica said. Trish stepped forward. Why don't you just go to the police? Do you really think they will tell me if they knew? Naruto said. Probably not. For all they would know, you're probably looking to kill this guy, Jessica said. So, are you? She asked. Nah, the person I'm doing this for told me not to kill him. They want him to rot in some shithole somewhere, and just the insurance. And who is this person? Jessica asked. Camila Resordio, Naruto said. Why do I know that name? Trish said. Well, Miss Jones, help her sister. She said you do good work. Oh, I remember now. That case, I covered that almost 3 years ago. As she looked over to the confused Jessica, she's the mother of Miseo Rosario. He and his friend bought a gun from a local drug dealer for protection, but his friend Hector accidentally killed him. Hector was arrested for manslaughter and illegal possession of a firearm, but none of the dealers got charged. That case opened up some serious talks about gun control here in New York. As she looked at Naruto, are you looking for the dealers that sold him that gun? Naruto nodded. I found them 3 years ago, but I was interrupted by the incident. 2 of them died in the chaos, the other, T, is still working around town. So why did it take you so long to find him again? Said Trish. Ever hear of a sabbatical? Naruto said, as he was going to go into it. So, can you find him? He said, looking at Jessica. I have a few ideas. Do you know where it operates? Its usual location of dealing. Harlem, the last I checked, Naruto said. And when was that? She asked. About 3 years ago, Naruto said. She nodded. Well, I doubt he's moved around too much. Well, there's a couple places I can check. That's awesome, Naruto said. Let's go. Cash or check? Asked Jessica. Cash, Naruto said. But guys, in the end of this episode right here. If you want the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notifications stay posted. Remember to share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, stay tuned for the rest of the what is coming your way. And I hope you enjoy each and every one of them. But for now, I'm out of here. Peace.